The first time I met Brenda Lockhart, HOA president of Pine Valley Estates, she was standing in the middle of a trail with a neon safety vest and a clipboard, demanding I check in before walking to my own cabin. By the end of the week, she called a mandatory HOA meeting to vote me off the land. What she didn't know was that I had just bought the entire forest she thought she ran, 1,200 acres of wilderness, for my photography work.
I'm Caleb Mercer.
Brenda, the amateur forest ranger, started harassing me 3 days after I moved in, citing unauthorized forestry activities for simply clearing deadfall near my cabin. When I told her my property was not part of the HOA, she scoffed. Over the next week, she taped notices to my trees, unauthorized removal of natural debris, altering trail aesthetics, and finally, installing unapproved birdhouses. The escalation culminated when I caught her photographing my woodpile, claiming it was an unapproved outdoor storage facility. She handed me a summons to appear before the board. I decided to attend, but with my own documents. I spent 3 days at the county courthouse, pulling records and rushing a professional survey. I confirmed my 1,200 acres were entirely separate from the HOA's jurisdiction. But my surveyor, Dennis, found something better. The HOA had built 3 walking trails and their community gazebo, their crown jewel, 420 feet inside my property line. Thursday evening, I walked into the community center with a 3 by 4 foot survey map and a laser pointer. Brenda, gavel in hand, called me forward to address my violations. I unrolled the map behind her, marking my property line in green and the HOA's boundary in red. The room went quiet. I pointed the laser at the gazebo, sitting pretty in the middle of my forest. The room erupted. Brenda sputtered about adverse possession, throwing around legal terms she'd clearly Googled. I pulled out a letter from my attorney, outlining the years of trespassing and demanding immediate action. Effective immediately, I announced, all HOA members are banned from my property. The trails will be closed, and the gazebo will be removed. I give you 72 hours to remove any personal property. I left while the residents shouted at Brenda, demanding to know how much HOA money had been spent on structures built on land they didn't own. The next morning, I had a crew installing locked metal gates across the trails. I hired a crew to carefully dismantle the gazebo. Brenda showed up with the sheriff, who, after reviewing my documents, informed her she was within her rights and needed to stop calling him for civil matters. The judge threw out Brenda's emergency injunction, reportedly laughing when he read her claim that I was stealing community resources. The final blow landed when a resident discovered Brenda had been collecting a monthly forest maintenance fee from all residents for 5 years, ostensibly for trail and gazebo upkeep. That was nearly $30,000 collected for land the HOA didn't own. The word embezzlement started getting thrown around. The HOA board called an emergency meeting and voted unanimously to remove Brenda. The HOA's insurance company and the state attorney general's office launched a fraud investigation. The forensic accountant revealed Brenda had been skimming from the maintenance fund for years, listing a personal hot tub as gazebo heating equipment and a vacation to Florida as a forestry management conference. Brenda Lockhart was charged with embezzlement and fraud. She pleaded guilty to avoid jail time and was sentenced to 5 years probation and ordered to pay $58,000 in restitution to the HOA. As the judge read the sentence, Brenda sobbed that her life was ruined over some stupid property lines. The man who just wanted to photograph wildlife had used those lines to secure his peace and dismantle a local dictatorship.